Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching, and your host on this series. This is a place where you ask a question, and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Please know once again that I am not a therapist, and I will never tell you what you must do. Each week on Fridays, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. In addition to those questions, I talk about various other life renewal topics. So let's get started with the questions for this week. Our first question comes from Kyle, who is in Eugene, Oregon. Kyle writes, I have a serious issue with procrastination. I can't seem to get anything done in a timely fashion. Do you have any idea of how I can change this behavior? That's a very good question, and thank you for asking it, Kyle. One of the first things that you want to do is check with your doctor to see if there is an issue with ADHD, because sometimes this can be the root of the issue with procrastination. I do know a lot of people with ADHD who aren't able to keep to a schedule, or they forget things, and there's other symptoms that go along with ADHD, but procrastination is or can be one of them because there's just so much going on. It's hard to actually focus. So that's one of the suggestions that I have for you, is to check to see if that's an issue, and if it is, your doctor can help you learn to manage it. And hopefully that will help with the procrastination too. When we have procrastination, we have to look at why it's there. Is it because we have so much on our plates that we're not able to get things done? Or is it that we think we have more time than we actually do? These are issues that you do need to figure out what the root cause is for the procrastination. Now, to work through it, having accountability to someone else is top on my list. Whether you work with a coach or a friend or family member, but tell someone about what it is you want to do and ask them to hold you accountable, to check in with you. If you have a time deadline, you want to make sure that whoever you have as your accountability person, they know what that deadline is. That is something that you can do. Setting a timer sometimes is all that some people need to stay on track so that they don't procrastinate. And yet for some people, it doesn't work. One of the things that I do find working is if you look at how you feel when you actually reach a goal on time, when you don't procrastinate. Look at that feeling. You want to expand that feeling and have it again. It actually releases endorphins in the brain. I tend to stay away from looking at what happens when you do procrastinate, because that can be a negative influence, but it may actually work. But you do want to go back and figure out why you procrastinate. What is the payoff for you of procrastinating? Is it that you're procrastinating on some things but not others? Maybe you're procrastinating on things that you just don't want to do. And there are other things that you don't procrastinate on, which may be things that you do want to do. Or this is a starting point and certainly not an end point. I would like you to do some more homework, talk to your doctor, talk to your family, figure out what the root cause is. Because if you can figure that out, you can overcome this issue. It is something that is certainly doable to work on and to work with. So send me a note. Let me know how you get on with this issue. Write a comment below or send me an email. Either way, I'd really like to know how you resolved this issue, because there is a resolution. And each resolution is different. It's going to be different for each person. So what works for you may not work for the next person. All right. Thank you for that question, Kyle. We have a fun topic today, and it's Chinese New Year. The reason that I'm talking about Chinese New Year is because, of course, I love Chinese New Year, just like I love Christmas. I love celebrating holidays anyway. Now, Chinese New Year moves around. It is celebrated all over the world, and it usually falls between January 20th and February 21st. And the reason that it falls between those dates is because it's the second new moon after the winter solstice. And the winter solstice is December 21st. It's a wonderful, wonderful celebration where there are festivals. The Festival of Light, I believe it's called the Lantern Festival, that is done on the 15th day. There's 12 animals related to Chinese New Year. There's a beautiful story about how the animals got their position in the new year. So the animal that is coming up now, the snake, and you can look up all the attributes of the snake. It has affinity with two other animals, the rooster and the ox. So you have the animal and you also have an element. And there's 5 elements. So if you are a snake, it doesn't mean that you are just that. You might be a metal snake or a water snake, or you could be a wood snake. So look up the element because that also gives you attributes. It's similar to astrology. I know people who are astrologers who are from the East, and they definitely incorporate the animal of the person when they're doing their astrology reading. So it's a time of celebration, a time of festivals. It's a time when you get together with friends, with family. Usually you stay up late the night before, and you have grandparents and people who are married giving money in red envelopes. I've forgotten the name of those envelopes, but red is an auspicious color in the Chinese tradition. So money is given for good luck. You have the dragon and lion festival that occur, and that's also done for good luck. If you have an opportunity to go out for dinner in a traditional Chinese New Year dinner, it is something to behold because there are different courses, and each course has a meaning and a way of celebrating and honoring the year that is ahead. As I said, this year it's January 29th. So even if you don't have a traditional Chinese New Year way of celebrating, go out, take yourself out to dinner, take your family out to dinner and celebrate. All right, now our next question comes from Marjorie, who is in Spokane, Washington. Marjorie writes, I'd like to begin dating again, but I don't know where to start. I don't want to use any of the apps. They seem to be impersonal. Do you have any suggestions? I'm 45 years old. Thank you for that question, Marjorie. And you really do not have to use an app to date. There are plenty of ways to meet people. My suggestion would be to join groups that you're interested in. Maybe it's bird watching, maybe it's knitting, maybe not knitting, but you want to join groups where you could potentially find a mate. That's one thing that you can do, whether you ski or roller skate or, take up a new hobby. These are ways of meeting people through socializing. So look at Meetup. There are plenty of Meetup groups, and Meetup is all over the country. And actually, it might be in other countries too. But that's where I would start. If you like to dance, even taking a salsa class or a dance class that you like, there's always people there too. There are a plethora of ways for you to meet others. Taking a class at your local college, you never know who you would be sitting next to. Above all, do something that you love. Get out and about in the community. Volunteer your time for different groups, but be around other people. That's going to be the best way to find your next mate. By all means, let me know about your journey with dating and finding that special person. Send me a comment or an email. All right, we have come to the end of the videos for this week. Please send your questions to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. If you'd like to learn more about the services that I offer, go to my website, padmalifecoaching.com. There is information on astrology, life coaching, past life regression. All of the services that I offer are there. You can book a session with me through the website, or you can just send me an email and I can book it for you. If you'd like to learn more about me and how I became a life coach and an astrologer, please check out my book, And the Lotus Opened, a Memoir. That book can be found on any of the online bookstores, whether it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, 8 Books, or Target, I believe, actually has it. So it's a memoir, and it is, of course, my life story, but it's also talking about how I work through different issues that I have faced in my life. All right, that is it for this week. I hope to see you back here again next week, and happy Chinese New Year. See you later. Bye-bye.